Mr. Chair, I have a real concern here, and that is that this audience is clearly not representative. So I just want to tell this audience that you guys that's overrepresented must embark on a great track. You must decide if you are in oversupply here. You must go to the areas where there's a need for you, like the Western Cape. There's a paradox about this great idea of the state. Those who should be advantaged are being disadvantaged. In an attempt to establish equality, a new inequality is created for the masses in the form of poor service delivery. In a bid to create an inclusive South Africa, whites and minorities are generally being alienated. In a bid to liberate South Africans from the apartheid system, they are being made dependent on a new system. One of the major problems of the ideology of representativity is that there are simply too few white people to discriminate against. So, Mr. Ramaphosa, there are too few of the Leburu or white people. You do not need to scare children with the boergevaar. Affirmative action has failed because governments and the ANC's underlying concept of affirmative action has failed. Not only here, but also globally. And I suggest, and quite seriously, I do it in the form of an invitation, I suggest that the BMF and Solidarity host a national conference on the life of affirmative action after the death of affirmative action.
We share one thing with Solidarity, we're patriots. That to me is fundamental. I want to say it in this meeting. We may disagree. We don't have to, every South African to love the ANC. We'll have to have differences as part of a democratic polity. For democracy to exist, there must be Democrats. And Democrats must defend his right to say it. As Voltaire would say, even it means death, his right to say it. So let me come and disagree with Dirk. In 2002, we said a key fundamental principle in South Africa is black economic empowerment. Now, what are the elements of this thing? People isolate one issue. Elements of that is an ownership issue. Unless black South Africans feel part of this economy, it will never be stable. Among other things, it's also affirmative action. It's part of a broader arsenal of interventions, an array of weapons at our disposal. And the product, as we speak, there's an emergence of a huge black middle class, is a product of that policy. More than 4 million people now within the middle class. Product of our policy, we're proud of it. I know some of you said, the ANC has not done anything for me. Well, if we didn't do that, you would not be where you are. That's our policy. A race is part of the policy discourse. You can't have a political debate in South Africa without factoring the racial question.
First, I want to say that it's very good to see that Dirk only wore his red tie today and that he left his red beret at home. Thank you very much. Votes are only one part of a democracy. The full story is here. And that is why we place such a major focus on the Constitution. And the Constitution has a lot to say about the subject we're talking about tonight. And it has an equality clause on which all of this debate is based. And let me say that the DA supports the equality clause 100%. The 100%. The debate is only about how best it should be applied to create a ladder to a non-racial society. And that is a dilemma. We realize that people were massively disadvantaged by the past, and we realize it was done on a racial basis, and we need to find mechanisms to correct that doesn't entrench race permanently as a feature of society. We want an open opportunity democracy where people are judged according to their character, not the color of their skin. And we realize we're a long way from that, and we realize we're a democracy in electoral terms 20 years old. And my answer to the question that was posed, have we made enough progress in economic inclusion? The answer to that question is absolutely not. We have not. And we need to look at the biggest barriers to inclusion. The biggest barriers, of course, are the huge difficulties we face in improving education massively for all kids, so that everybody's leaving school with a world-class education that can enable them to become the best they can be. That's the biggest barrier. The second is that we have not had the rate of economic growth that can create enough jobs to facilitate economic inclusion.